Welcome to the Small Axe Podcast. It's your boy Nico, the multifamily family man. We are going to talk about everything regarding multifamily real estate investing. Stick with me. This podcast episode is going to be epic. Yo, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. It's your boy Nico, and I'm back, gang. I'm here to come at you with some raw, unedited podcast stuff that's been kind of weighing on me a little bit. So let's jump right into today's episode. I hope that after this episode, you get a little bit of clarity about what I do on a day-to-day basis and what it's like to be in my shoes and to decide whether or not you want to be jumping into the multifamily real estate game yourself. And hopefully, my fam, hopefully you do. Okay, so at the time of this recording, it is July 2nd. You're probably listening to this episode, which is going to be episode number 309. I believe on the 6th of July or something like that. That's when this one's going to air. But I wanted to kind of check in with everybody, and I wanted to share what happens in my life. So you all know, as my beloved, trustworthy, caring, compassionate, kind, dedicated and committed listeners, you all know that I am also a school teacher. I do that throughout the year. So it is 180 something days or so that I have to teach. And then the rest of the year, I am doing other stuff like surf instructor, like real estate professional, investor, managing a million things, and waiting tables as well, along with being a dad with a blended family, a phenomenal, beautiful blended family. So now school's done. And just as school ended, as the tradition has gone for the past few years, my daughter and I went camping in the Catskills up here in New York just for a few days. It was pretty incredible. And it's just something that we have done together for the past 3 years now, I believe. I've been fortunate enough to have her for those times on the last day of school. So I'm pretty pumped and excited about that. And we really conquered some incredible hikes and just challenges that don't come naturally in a classroom, which I think is crucial for kids these days, crucial for us as adults, as parents, and bonding experiences between us and our children. It's all extremely important. So I felt so grateful. And on top of that, we slept in the teardrop trailer that we both built back in 2023, I believe we finished it, and we're still using that thing today, and it is kicking butt. It is so epic. And we brought our dog with us and just had such an amazing time. Challenged ourselves, like I just said before, on a very intensive hike for her. My daughter, who's only 10 years old, we got up to this very high peak in the mountains, and we got a literally breathtaking view of the Catskills, and it was just incredible. We had lunch there, and it was phenomenal. And we did a lot of fishing as well, and talking about life, talking about real estate, talking about everything, friendships, social relationships, moving on to middle school, because that's where she's going next year. So it was a truly incredible experience. And one thing that really stood out was a challenge. So we actually got lost on the way back down from the hike. I wasn't paying attention, and my daughter was leading, and she ended up missing the turn to go down the rest of the path. And we went the wrong way, essentially. So I missed it too. It's my fault just as much as it is hers. And we kept going for maybe 5-10 minutes or so. We were both like, this does not look familiar, and we haven't seen anybody on the trails. Are we going the wrong way? At that point, I said, look, we're going to keep going. We don't see any trail markers, which was actually kind of strange because we didn't see many trail markers in the beginning of the hike anyway. So we just decided that the best course of action at this point was to go a few more minutes at least, because I knew we were only about 10-15 minutes away from the beginning of the trail anyway. So if we hadn't hit it in the next 5 minutes, it would be time to turn around. So after walking for another 5-10 minutes or so, we decided that, yes, it is definitely time to turn around. The trail was actually closing in on us. We still had not seen a trail marker, and my daughter started panicking. I said, hold on. A time might come when you might have to make a decision just like this right now, and we're going to have to make that decision together, but you might be alone or with friends, and I need you in that circumstance, in that situation, to be the person of reason and to be calm and to be present. So let's stop for a minute. We're going to stop panicking. We're not going to move, and we're going to make a decision. Decision number one, which way do we go? It was very clear. We had one path back. There was no meandering, no other forks in the road. It was just one straight path back. We knew that for a fact. We knew number two, we had only walked 10 or 15 minutes that way. So it was only 10 or 15 minutes back. And then number three, very important, I told her, how much daylight do we have? At that point, it was only 1:30 or so. So we had plenty of daylight. Now, if the circumstances were different, we might have to make a decision to sit, hunker down, and make shelter for the night. But we had no worry at all that we were going to have plenty of time to get back to where we thought the trail should have been and make it out of there safely. And you know what? We did. And this was such a huge lesson that I was able to share with my daughter and teach her, that I hope that one day, because I'm not always going to be able to be with her, I hope that one day she can make a similar, calm, level-headed decision in a situation like that. Okay, so back to me and my life and where I am today and what I'm working on. So people think that the school year is over, they get to partay and chill, and that is not me at all. So first of all, I've been working every single day since the end of school. Obviously, I took off that weekend. We ended on a Friday. I took off Saturday and Sunday, and I have been cranking literally like a maniac, like I always do every day. I have not actually been working the surf camp yet. That I'm starting next week. But I worked the restaurant 4 days or 5 days this week. I also have been working countless hours on real estate, trying to tidy up my portfolio. And let's jump into that because that is crucial and important and weighing on me. It is very challenging today. Let me share the challenges with you right now. And I've mentioned them before on previous podcasts, but it's kind of coming to a point where it's like I just feel compelled to share with everybody how this is going and what everything and everything that's going on. So let's start with the fix and flip because this one is killing me. I want to get rid of this thing. We purchased this property in February. Now we're still not done. It is July 2nd as I'm recording this. We are not done with the renovations. It is not going well. And I have to be honest with you. So the contractor that I hired for this is not really getting the job done. And I'm likely going to have to remove her and put somebody else that I trust, know, and who's going to crank this out for me for the last week or two. Because I sent a couple of brokers there over the past couple of days to give me their BOV, the broker opinion of value. And valuations are lower than I anticipated. Obviously, that's always going to be the case. And I'm going to push for more in hopes to at least break even on this one. That's where we're at this point, guys and gals. So listen carefully here. So after the BOVs, I am hoping to break even. Okay, that's number one. But they also informed me that the progress is not happening the way I thought it was happening. It's not going to be done in a week. And I keep getting the same story from the contractor. Oh, 1 more week, 1 more week. No, I know in my mind it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks from today based on everything that my partners told me from being on site and just seeing how things have been progressing throughout this time. So we're not there yet. And I'm probably going to lose money on this deal. And this really stinks. But what am I losing? My money. And that stinks, but it is what it is. But this has been an overall headache for me for the past 4 or 5 months, however long it's been that I've been working on this project, because it's been nothing more than just a distraction. I thought that we could make some cash and put some cash in the bank, but at this point, I'm just trying to break even. If I can break even, it's a win for me. There's so many challenges with this. When we got into it, number one, all the electric had to be changed per code. And we knew that this was going to be an issue. We just did not understand the full ramifications of it and the cost and the time involved and the permitting, et cetera. It cost us a huge chunk of our CapEx budget. So we ate up about 25 grand in that, 20 to 25 grand in that. And that really crushed our returns. So at this point, based on that alone, we are going to be losing some money here. And again, guys, I will push till the bitter end and try to make money on this. But also in the end, I have to know that this has just been a distraction. It's been very hard for me to manage everything else that's going on in my life, that I don't need this. So get this off my plate is my first priority. Second priority is to not lose money. And third priority is to lose as little money as possible. Okay. That is the fix and flip. And then I still have the refinance going on of our 6-unit. Guys, our appraisal came back low because, we knew that this was going to happen. I knew that it was going to come back low because we ended up having to do a residential appraisal rather than a commercial appraisal. So the bank could not take the income approach based on that residential appraisal. If we had gone the income approach, we would have achieved easily the valuation that I needed but we don't have that. So at this point, I'm looking at very different loan options. And we also reduced our asking price for this to try to see if we can do a flash sale at the end. But we're not taking a loss on this because this is a great deal. So I'm not going to settle for that. And even though we do have some offers on the table right now, they're just not where I want them to be. So I've been working with this one group for a significant amount of time, 2 months or so, and going back and forth. I just checked the email thread. There's 100 emails in there. We did the appraisal with them. We're gone so far. And then they're requiring a restructuring of my entire general partnership team, the entire JV team. And it's just been such a pain in the butt. So I've been going back and forth with my attorneys, and my attorneys are charging me a lot of money. So I'm not likely going to go that route. I actually might have found a great solution today, which I'm not going to share with you guys until it's actually finalized. So I apologize for that little tease, but I just have to say something about it because I'm excited and I think that it's going to be a good option for us. But again, time will tell, right? So you might listen to this 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. You might hear another podcast episode about me talking about how the Baker Street refinance fell through, or maybe we're getting it done. So either way, stay tuned on that front as well. Now, another thing that I'm dealing with is the refinance of our 13 unit deal. So we have a bunch of different options for this deal as well, but a bunch of different obstacles. So let's talk about obstacles here. So this is a 13 unit property, right? There are two properties. They're about a mile apart from each other in a wonderful area of downtown Lakeland. Okay. So there's no doubt about it. These are great properties. The issues are they are small, right? So not many lenders want to do $1 million loan. Surprisingly, it's not that intriguing for a lot of lenders. And you need to know that. And you will know that once you're in the commercial space. It's not worth their time. And I get it. So that's number one. Number two is that the vintage of these properties is an issue. And I knew that was going to be an issue. These are stick-built properties in Florida, right? Which is always going to be a challenge. And then they're also older, like 1920s and 1940s or something crazy like that. And lenders don't want to take that on. So when you're looking at local banks and federal credit unions, for the most part, they're going to be at a 20 or 25-year amortization. Some of them, I have one that is at a 30-year amortization. There's a couple that will do a 30-year amortization. But then when you go that route, when you go the community bank, you have to have a strong balance sheet. And my balance sheet is not that strong. So Shane and I, my main partner and I, are trying to sign the loan together. And we qualify for the net worth possibly, right? It's not the biggest issue, but the biggest issue is liquidity. We don't have the liquidity that they want to see for the best rate and terms, okay? But we do have a very strong portfolio and a strong track record, which is good, but not good enough. So right now we are at a loss with liquidity. And I don't have any partners that have the liquidity that are willing to sign on the loan. Can you believe this? Everybody's crapping out on me, guys. So it's me and Shane, again, backed against a wall, trying to figure out solutions to the people that are not as involved as I was. And I do have one other partner that is absolutely willing to do so, but he is not a US citizen. And I love this guy, but he can't. He's not allowed to sign on this particular loan. So in order for us to get the best rate and terms, I need somebody to help sign on the loan. And guess what? It's probably not going to happen. So I'm looking at alternative solutions like I always am. I'm always trying to solve problems. That is probably one of my best traits. It might stress the crap out of people, but I dive into it and I go for it and I work my butt off. And I don't care what anybody else says or thinks and who's sitting home on a Friday night watching TV or going out to eat and partying. I'm working. I'm working on the Friday nights. I'm working on the Thursday mornings. I'm working on a random Wednesday through lunch. I do it all. Okay. Because I'm committed, I'm dedicated, I'm hardworking. I got these work ethics from my family, my father in particular, and also I'm just driven, guys. I just want to succeed. I want to see my family succeed. I want to help others in the world. I want to create a better place. Okay. So I'm driven. Sorry for the little rant. Now let's get back into it. So for the 13 unit, I have another option right now. Again, speaking with somebody that I'm very familiar with who actually got us this first loan. She is incredible. So if you need somebody, please reach out to me because she is more than just a person that can help you get a good loan. Okay. She's more than just a broker. Okay. She is somebody that finds solutions. She is solution oriented. She is extremely savvy and is very easy to communicate with. So I'm definitely willing to share her contact information because she's incredible to work with and she will find solutions for you, just like she's finding a solution for me right now. And we're getting there. So again, the two properties that I have to refinance, Baker Street and Lakeland 13, their loans are coming due on 10/1, right? And it is what, July 2nd, as I'm talking about this right now. So we got to get the ball rolling for both of them. Some of the banks don't want to take on the Lakeland 13 as well because we've only owned it for 9 months, right? We haven't had it for a full year, and that's an issue as well. They need a seasoning period. There's so many requirements from different banks. So you have to be savvy enough to know which lenders will lend on what. I've also reached back out to the original lender that gave us the bridge loan, Conventus, but they don't do commercial takeout loans anymore. All they're doing is literally bridge right now. So it is what it is. I'm reaching out to a billion different people trying to make things happen, and it is tough. Okay. And even though I do have this really good solution on the line, it might change in 2 weeks because what happens after you get an appraisal, what happens after you go for the DSCR, right? What happens when you're finding an insurance quote that is just not meeting the standards? You kind of get screwed a little bit on these lending terms. So you got to be careful. The target is always moving and you have to be on your game. You have to fight and you have to be willing to argue and you have to be willing to figure out different solutions. And then you also have to reset your expectations on some of these, like I am having to do as well. So ideally, I would go with this very competitive local bank. However, I can't find somebody to sign on the loan with me that's got enough liquidity to make the bank happy. So I have to go with the DSCR loan, which is slightly different. And proceeds are going to be good, most likely, which is what is very important for me. But cash flow might be a little bit less, which is something that I need to suck up at this point, maybe, unless I can find a solution, which I am always working. So I got those three things going on. The fix and flip, which I do not want and I do not need. It is a huge distraction. The two refinances. And now the fourth thing is a sale. Okay. We have an offer. I still have not accepted it. This has been weeks. We've been discussing this one offer on our 28 unit property. It is a pretty good offer. It is more than what we paid for the property, but it's a loss. What? Did you hear that right? Somebody is willing to pay $200,000 more than what we paid for the property, and it is a loss if I accept it. And we haven't accepted it yet, and I might accept it, I might not, and who cares? The point here is that $200,000 more than what we paid for it is a loss. How? Let me explain. First of all, there are general partnership fees, right? There's an acquisition fee that goes into purchasing a multifamily property, and we took a 2% fee. We were entitled to. And thank goodness we did because of all the work we put into it. There are closing costs. Closing costs can be 3.5% between legal documents, title, other fees, lender requirements for liquidity, reserves on hand, etc. We also had a huge CapEx budget. So we spent about $200,000 on CapEx on this particular property, perhaps a little bit more. And then there are broker fees and other fees that are hidden, but the broker fees on the sale are significant as well. They will be about 3% of the sale price. So that's why selling at $200,000 more than what we paid for the property is a loss. And it's also a loss for a lot of people in a lot of ways. And it's also considered a loss for a lot of people based on time. I put so many hours into this particular property, literally so many, and I'm working for free. I'm not taking any asset management fee. I'm not taking a disposition fee. I'm not taking anything. I've been working for free forever because I truly care about my reputation, obviously, but more importantly, my investors and their capital and not losing them money. I have very close friends and family on this deal, and I do not want to lose anybody's money. Let me paint it in a more positive way for a brief moment as well, because this is important. We have no capital calls. We have no capital calls coming, and we are doing excellent, in my opinion. We're just not making distributions on all of our properties. Oh, well, the market shifted significantly. Expenses went up significantly. The economy is down like a mofo. We all know that. But we're operating, and I'm doing it, and I'm handling it all. So here's the skinny. If we are to sell this property at the current sale price of the person that offered, and they're gung-ho, they want this thing. If we were to sell at 3.85 million, okay, we bought it for 3.65 or so, something like that. If we were to sell 3.85 million, we can put back about 45% of the investor capital into their pockets, okay, while we still have the other property. That's one option. And investors are thinking about it right now. Do they want that capital back, or would they rather hold for a little bit more of a return, or perhaps not losing any money? Because if we were to do this, right, get them that 45% back and then sell the other property at what we have it listed for today, we'd probably get anywhere from 80 to 85% of our investor capital back. And we want to beat that, obviously. So we have so many different scenarios, which I'm working out with all my investors and my partners and just kind of working out myself as well, obviously, because I do this all day, every day, like I said. And it is turning out that maybe we'll hold for a little bit. Maybe we'll hold for a better offer. Okay. This looks like a great buyer, but I think that the consensus is going to the route of holding for a better offer because this is not a fire sale yet, people. Our loans are not due really for another 6 years. Yes, the loans are going to reset in a year and a half, but that doesn't mean that they're due. So this is not a fire sale, in my opinion. We have plenty of reserves in the bank. We are not at risk here. But the reason why we're entertaining selling is because I don't think the market is going to switch for the better. I don't think it's going to be much better a year from now. I think we're going to need 3 years. I think we need 1 to 2 more years of pain or even worse pain before things start looking better. So at this point, next time you hear me on the podcast, I might be talking about how we're proceeding with that sale or we're waiting for a different buyer. And it's leaning towards the fact that we might wait at this point and hold off. Amidst all of this, I am dealing with obviously my personal life, which is always, guys, if you knew all the stuff that I deal with and my partner deals with, she is the most incredible human being I've ever met in my life. And I thank God every single day that I wake up because she is absolutely incredible. But if you knew everything that we dealt with, it would be kind of overwhelming for me to share here in this podcast. But just know that I have so many personal things going on as well, but I still keep my head up and I still crank through all of my business responsibilities on my properties, my portfolio, to my investors, to the lenders, to everybody involved, because this is so important to me and I'm so driven for it. But just know that if you are dealing with personal things as well, know that I'm here for you. And hopefully I can inspire you to push through challenges while continuing to maintain the utmost integrity and the utmost dedication, commitment, and hard work to your business and future goals while you handle those personal issues. So that's really it for me today, guys. I wanted to share a quick update of my quote unquote summers off, which are non-existent. And I don't care because I love everything that I do. I love being a surf instructor. I love being a teacher. I love being a real estate professional. I love being an investor. I love looking at deals. I love managing my portfolio. I love communicating with everybody via this podcast and more and all the little clips and all that stuff that I do. I love waiting tables. I love seeing some cash from that. I love hanging out with my family. I love everything. Life is too good. Life is too good to curl up in a ball. Just know 3 years from now, if you guys are grinding with me, we're going to hold hands together. We're going to raise our hands high and we are going to raise the roof to the sky, my fam, because guess what? Those of us who can stick out the next few years and grind through and come out with a little bit of success will win for life. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Small Acts podcast. Your attention truly means the world to me. Please leave a rating and write a review. Also, share this episode with somebody that you think could get value from it. Remember, it only takes a small act to build a lasting empire. So get out there and start building your own.